Ladies and gentlemen, in my Zero to Hero challenge, you may hear a lot of this term from me, ladder technique. So this video will talk about ladder checkmate technique. Ladder technique is actually very simple. It usually involves a queen and a rook, two queens or two rooks. The idea of ladder technique is always the same. Let's take an example of this position. You want to checkmate the king, right? So your very first step is always to cut off the king from coming to this square. So you want to push, the idea is to push the king to the corner of the board. What I mean by corner is at the side of the board, so it's not exactly corner. You can still checkmate if it is not in the corner, but the idea is to push the king to the side of the board. Side referring to these four sides. Here, 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 here. As long as the king is at the side of the board, you can pretty much checkmate. But now, let's just say you try to check him, he can still move here. And if you try to check him, he can move back, right? So you cannot just keep checking the king without a purpose. You need to have a purpose. In order to force the king to the side of the board, you first need to determine which side do you want to checkmate. For example, you want to checkmate the king at this side. Okay? Now you have a plan. You want to checkmate the king at this side, which means you have to cut off the king from coming to this square, right? So let's go back again. Your first step is to cut the king off, not letting him to come to this square. So coming here, the rook comes here to cut off this rank. Okay, so now the king cannot move to this rank. So he can now move here, here, or going back. If it goes back, you are happy because the king is one step back, towards your checkmate plan. But if the king move some like here, okay, usually what I want to do is trying to move my rook closer to the queen, but yet still cutting off this square. Okay, so maybe here. Okay, this is very close to the queen. So maybe the king is relentless, trying to chase your rook. Now your queen comes in, check, and then you can see that your queen is protecting the rook, and your king, the opponent's king, cannot even come here because this rank is controlled by the queen, and this rank is controlled by the rook. So the king has to move here. Now the king has moved to this side of the board, and you are happy. Why? Now you can do the ladder technique properly. Check. The king, as you can see, if you click, he only has 3 squares. 1, 2, 3. Here. Check. Clicking again. Okay. Here. Checkmate. This is the ladder technique. Okay. So this is on the king and queen and the rook. And I show you that let's just say you have to pick a side. Let's just say if you pick this side. Okay, you pick this side, you want to checkmate on this side. So what you also want to do is you want to cut off the king from coming to here, and the queen is already doing the job of cutting this square. So what you need to do now is to check, okay, here, so that the king can only move to this file. So what you do is you check him, and he comes here, and then you check again. Okay, he comes here, then you have to be careful not to come here because this just blunders rook. So what did I say before? You want to always bring your rook to the queen, closer to the queen. Here, okay, then comes here, check, only have 3 dots, 1, 2, 3, here, checkmate. Okay, very easy, very, very simple. One thing to note about the ladder checkmate using queen and rook is not to put your queen at the front, not to put the queen at the front. let me show you an example of a real life game that I have made I think back in 2 days ago, 3 days ago, where I'm still level 1. Okay, so in this game, you can see the danger of putting the queen at the front. So here, I take the pawn. Okay, he took my pawn, and then I start to do some ladder technique. I want to checkmate him on this side. Okay, so what I do is here, okay, I take again, and check, and what happened? What is the blunder here? The blunder here is the king can take my queen. Of course, he got panicked and he didn't take my queen, and I proceed to do ladder checkmate. Before I do ladder checkmate, once again, I didn't come here, moving my queen back, checkmate. Okay, so this is just one thing to note about. In the case of 2 rooks, it is also the same. You pick a side. You pick a side. Maybe you want to, okay, let's take this side. You want to checkmate here. Okay, you want to checkmate here, and once again, you want to cut off the king from moving back. What you do? You move your rook here, cutting this off, and maybe he comes here. Then you check, and then he comes here, and you have to be very careful. Why? If he comes here, he will just take a rook. Comes here, he will take a rook. Okay, this is not queen. The rook cannot protect each other if it is diagonally. Okay, so you have to save this rook first, moving all the way up. So if the king want to take your rook, he will have to move all the way back to take your rook. So now, let's just say the king is relentless. Okay, he want to take your rook, give you a check. Now this pawn is controlled by this rook, this pawn is controlled by this rook. The king has only 3 dots. Moving here, you check again. Okay, moving here, and then in this case, you can move your rook all the way up, but because this is your rook is protected by the king, so you can still move here. Okay, check him. As you can see, he cannot take because this rook is protected by the king, and then he has only 2 squares. You come in to checkmate him. Okay, simple as that. Let's just say, let's do one more example. If let's say you want to checkmate on this side, okay, this side. So once again, you identify this side, which means you do not want him to come here. Okay, currently you can do it with this rook. Okay, you do not want to do it with this rook because this just blunder the rook. Here, he comes here. Once again, I said before, you want to move away from the king as far as possible. Okay, so here, and then come here, comes here, you check him. He comes here, you have to take your rook, move all the way back. Here, okay, do not blunder this rook. Okay, if you come here, he will just take a rook, moving all the way back. Okay, far away. Here, and then he only have 3 dots. Here, checkmate. Easy as that. So now we know about ladder technique. We need to talk about the common pitfall for ladder technique. Ladder technique is very inefficient when there are other pieces on the board. Why? Because essentially your piece or your pawns, or maybe opponent's piece or pawn, can block the ladder technique from successfully being executed. Okay, so let's take an example of this position, right? And as you can see, if let's just say it's white's turn and there is only 1 king, okay? So let's just say, oh, you say that you want to checkmate at this side, okay? Let's just say, and then your first step is to cut off. We talked about this before. You do not want the king to come here, alright? So you use your queen to cut off, and then you can see that the king can move here, alright? Why? Because your knight is blocking your queen. Okay, your knight is blocking your queen from controlling this file or this rank. Alright, so if you have other pieces on the board, try to sacrifice or move away your pieces. So let's move back. So let's just say you are seeing that, okay, this knight is very It's very troublesome. It's blocking the ladder technique. Just move your knight away. Okay, move your knight away. So now let's just say comes here, move your knight away as far as possible. Okay, as far as possible. Now this pawn is also blocking. Why not we also move it away? So let's say it comes here, move it away, then move it away. Okay, move away, just move it away. Okay, here now you have moved your pawn away. So now you can think of, okay, where do you want to checkmate your opponent? Okay, let's say you want to checkmate on this side, although this side is a bit harder. Okay, because this knight is still blocking. So you say, okay, this knight is blocking. Move away then. Okay, so it comes here. Alright, you want to checkmate on this side, which means you have to prevent the king from coming here. Okay, so now the rook is preventing the king from coming here. You can use your queen to check him. Here, check. Here, check. Here, checkmate. Okay, so the key takeaway is if there are other pieces on the board, try to move them away. Or if there are any other pieces that is blocking it, sacrifice it, move it away. Yeah, that's it. Ladder technique not necessarily need to be in the end game whereby there's only one king. Sometimes during the middle game you can also execute ladder technique. Okay, so this is one of the game where I played with an opponent and I am actually losing. Okay, so the opponent found a very good move by taking this pawn, and I'm forced to take back the rook with my queen. He take my queen and I take his bishop. Okay, so he moved his king back, and it is a very good move by him. Okay, because it sets up a ladder technique. So and I don't think I have any way to stop it, so I move here. Okay, unfortunately he moved his queen here, which is a blunder by him because this missed the checkmate. So can you find a good move by him? So the move by him is actually check. Okay, right, not moving the queen away just because I am attacking his queen. Check. I only have 3 dots. Moving to one of the dot. Checkmate. And as you can see, my king cannot move here because this file is controlled by the rook. So the key takeaway is try to find the ladder technique even in the middle game. That doesn't necessarily need to be in the end game. Try to find it in the middle game and it will win you the game. So now that you know about ladder technique, you know about the common pitfall for ladder technique, what you need to do now is to practice. You need to practice ladder technique until you are comfortable with it. You know, even closing your eyes, you also know how to do ladder technique. Why do we need to do that? Well, why do we need to practice to master it? Because it will certainly help you in doing a lot of pre-move. So once you are in level 2, you need to start pre-moving ladder technique like a master. Okay, so please practice ladder technique. It will help you in winning a lot of games.